I recently spoke to a previous guest about like online fame,
Online. Okay.
and like being recognizable or recognized, like, in a lot of places. And he said the toughest part of that is people feeling like they know you, especially online, like not even in person, but like online. Like people just say things and approach you in a way like they know you. What has been your biggest struggle with being recognizable, a lot more recognizable than a few years ago?
I have a few.
Okay.
I have some beef.
I'm listening.
The first thing, as the other person said, is that people feel like they know you when it's like I barely I share about money and travel.
Yeah.
You don't know anything else about me really, but they feel like they do. So one thing, like they will in person approach me, but like they don't realize that I don't know them. Even if I've responded to your DM or anything, I actually don't know what you look like because your profile's private. Or I talk to so many people, there's no way I can remember what everyone's face looks like, right? So like last week, someone came up to me at church and they were like, "Oh, hey, Rennie," and I was like, "Hi." Like I always say hi because I'm like, I don't want to be rude, but like I don't know. Like, can you say your name? Can you say introduce? How do you know me?
Yeah.
And then,
give me something.
And they were like, "Oh, can I get your number?" And I was like, "No." And it's a girl. It's not like she was trying to holler at me, but she was just like, "Can I get your number?" I was like, "Oh, I don't really give out my number to people." She's like, and I don't want her to feel like I'm being rude to her, right?
It's a balance.
Exactly.
Right?
But I just don't know you.
Right?
And she didn't even say her name. Like till this day, I don't know her name, right? So
it's a bit unhinged to ask someone that
I
for
know.
their number that you've never.
And it was like at 9 p.m. and she like was following me to my car to ask me this too. So it was a little weird. Also, last week was an interesting week. So I go jogging every morning or rollerblading, whichever one I just feel like.
Yeah.
This day I was jogging. And then I was also on FaceTime, or I was walking and I was on FaceTime as I was walking. And then a car like passed me. And then I don't know, I didn't pay attention to it. I get home and then the car is following me.
Stop.
And then the car, I look back and then a man comes out of his car.
Oh no.
I'm saying hi to my neighbor. I'm like, "Hi," whatever. And then this man, a black man, I'm like, there aren't really that many black people in my neighborhood. So I'm like thinking I know him or something. And he's like, "Hi." And I'm like, "Hi." And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I almost hit you back there." And I was like, "Did you?" Like,
No,
I
you
didn't know him. And then he's like, I'm like standing at my doorstep at this point. He walks onto my driveway and I'm like, "Can I help you?" He's like, "Oh, you're that girl from Instagram, right? What's your name again? And I'm just but like he acts like he didn't know me at first. That was my problem. If he just come out and
said it, right?
Yeah, he acted like he didn't know me, and then he's like,
he didn't want to be a fan, really.
right?
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, that's me. How can I help you?" And he says, "Oh, can I get your number?" And I said, "No, I don't give out my number." I said, "Are you Nigerian?" And he said, "No, I'm whatever." He said he's Kenyan, and I said, "Okay." Like I'm thinking, is there somewhere I know this guy? He said, "Oh, yeah, give me your number." And I said, "No, I have a partner." And he said, "Oh yeah, I know you do. I see you going up and down in Senegal, wearing all those nice outfits. You were in Nigeria." And I was like, "Whoa."
No.
He was like literally recalling my life online, which of course I share. I'm not mad that people know that I'm in Senegal. I shared it, but I'm just like, why'd you act like you didn't know me? It was so weird.
Man.
And then afterwards, I went home, and then the next day I posted on my story, "Leave women alone when they're walking." And then he responds to my story.
No way.
Yeah, and you can see when a person has followed you. He's followed me since 2022.
Okay.
He's engaged with lots of he obviously knew who I was.
Yeah.
Right? And then he messaged, "Oh, it was harmless. I wasn't trying to do anything." I just blocked him because, but I was just like, this is really weird.
That is really weird.
The fact that it was at my house was the annoying part because now you know where I live.
I was going to say, like, then you have to be careful.
Exactly.
Now, and like, almost like, because it's very weird.
And I'm like,
it's parasocial.
Extremely parasocial.
Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah. And then one more thing that happens is that people, again, they think we're friends, so they trauma dump in my DMs. Like last week, I was talking about privilege on my stories, and I was having a conversation about how privilege, like all the ways that these are things that we think or we don't necessarily think are privileges, but they are. And then I said something about like, oh, having parents that don't see you as a retirement plan is a big privilege. And I think that's a pretty like obvious statement, you know? And then this girl comes into my DMs. Oh, well, I was orphaned at the age of this. And like,
wow, straight off the jump.
It's a privilege to just have parents. And I was like, oh, no. What am I supposed to I was like, what am I supposed to say to this? I didn't respond. And that happens a lot. It's not just her. Like, it happens a lot. So I used to do these discussion posts on my story every single week.
Because you want to interact with people, right?
And it would align with my YouTube video for the week so that it would generate conversation. I'm like, go watch my YouTube video about this.
Makes sense.
And I forgot why I stopped. And then last week I remembered why I stopped. Because people just like pour everything into my DMs. And I'm like, I get it, but I'm also a random person too. Yeah. So... yeah, and on Twitter, people get mad about everything. So that's another thing. But I don't really care about that.
Yeah, you're like immune to that now.
Yeah.
Did it ever bother you, like when you first started out?
I don't think so. I just mute, like, the second a post is reaching like 1,000 views or something, I'm just like, let me mute this before it gets crazy. Especially if it reaches Nigerian Twitter. Oh my gosh. It's above me at that point. Yeah. They like to insult. They don't even like correct, they insult.
Yeah. it's not a conversation. You're just here to like be bad vibes, basically.
Literally, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Especially as a woman. Oh my God. The men just It's as well.
Yeah. I guess following on from that, you were very vocal. I think you were at the end of a relationship and you were dating. And I think you had a lot of interesting experiences while dating.
Plenty, yeah.
Can you talk a bit about that and like what dating is like from your POV and like, you know, even especially linked back to like, you know, being recognizable also?
Yeah. So honestly, I've had the majority good experiences, I will say. But I feel like guys approach me and then they have like a preconceived notion of who I am because of my social media presence, right? So in that case, it's very hard to live up to whatever they've dreamt up in their head.
On, right?
And I'm like, bro, I'm just a normal person.
This is not Rennie the resource. This is Rennie, right?
Exactly.
Here.
Like I went on a date once. I hope he doesn't listen to this, but
I hope he does.
I went on a date with this guy and he asked me, or he started taking pictures of me during the date. And it was the first date. It wasn't like we knew each other. It was just, and I was just
I'm having like secondhand embarrassments right now.
I was like, interesting. And then whatever. I didn't read too much into it. I'm like, maybe, you know, it would be cute if
was it like secretly?
We were mini golfing and then he took a picture of me. But it's like, he didn't send it to me. He just took it. So I'm like, are you sending this to your group chat? Like, hey guys, I'm on a date. But whatever. I didn't read into it too much. And then when I got home, he asked me, was the date #Rennie rated? And I was like,
oh no. Why?
Like, interesting. Yeah. So that's an example of like, but most of the guys, honestly, they're very normal, but I don't meet them in online. So that's why, like, the guy I'm seeing now, I met him in person. So I feel like that's why it worked.
That cuts out a lot of like complexities.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't know. He's a social media person. Maybe that helps as well. Okay. So he's not like watching my stories and stuff.
So would your advice to other content creators, don't date people that are following you?
I think it can work. But you know Tony Tones and Ty? But they're both content creators. It's different. It's actually different. Yeah. But I don't think I would date a content creator.
As a content creator, you wouldn't date one?
Like, what's he doing online? It depends what he's doing.
Are you one of those as a man? Why are you making content?
As a man. No, I'm joking. It depends what he's doing.
Okay.
Is he doing fashion content or is he doing finance content? If he's doing finance content, we can go on. I have no comments on the comedy front. I have no comments.
Oh, okay. That was really interesting. I wish we could pull some threads, but I'll let you go. I'll let you go off scotch free.